Hey, everybody. I just realized that I played the intro to nobody because I wasn't live. So we're going to go without the intro tonight. Crazy, crazy. Welcome, everybody.
What's
Hey there,
going
buddy.
on? That was
How are
funny.
you?
That was funny.
I'm like, whatever.
Well, hell, we're so damn scatterbrained at this point in time with
I'm like,
everything that's going on with this damn case.
I have all this stuff going on, and I'm like trying to keep my ducks in a row, and my ducks are not in a row. They are not in a row. But yeah, I just anyway, how you doing, friend?
I'm here.
Good.
It's just anticipation for midnight. Waiting on to see if she's got a rule on that that motion to quash.
Yeah, you would think she would have ruled on it today, huh?
Well, like I said, she's got until midnight.
So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see.
The question is when it was actually drafted up and when it was actually filed with the court is the question. Because they're usually within hours or 24 hours behind.
Right.
Posting stuff. I've seen that with the Carroll County Clerk's office.
Yeah.
So.
And they're scheduled for tomorrow. So.
Well, exactly. That's my point. So you would think she would have a ruling in before midnight.
Be done at the courthouse?
Yeah. And the jury room.
In the jury room. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So I'm keeping an eye on my phone because we all know that they can e-file all that stuff from home. So I'll be keeping an eye on it.
Yep. Well, I hadn't been live, and I thought, well, I'm going to do a live stream because it's going to be a crazy weekend, and I probably won't get a live stream before the end of the month. So I was like, there's so much going on, and I know that you and I
talked about this. And then the holiday is Monday.
Yeah, and if stuff's going to be happening on tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday in this case, people are going to want to know things, talk about it and stuff. And so I thought, well, let's see where we're going next.
Well, I was talking to Miss Deb earlier today, and they're flying out tomorrow to go to Florida at 1 p.m. She's like, oh, the heck, there ain't a bunch of documents dropped. And she said, I just don't want to have to deal with that.
Oh, well, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's going to happen. There's just some things obviously with the lemonade, she could wait until next week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'm with everybody else on this. We want to know,
Yeah. It gives us a basis on what we can expect next.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But everything that I've researched, everything that I've looked at regarding the law in Indiana is, we said it earlier, it's pretty specific on third party. And Nick spelled it out.
You sure
in
did.
His response. And they don't have the evidence that they need to use the Odinism angle and to bring these 5 individuals into the mix. And I just don't look for her to allow it. I
mean, Nick's flat out said, look, you guys are speculating. There is no forensic, scientific, anything showing that they were even there.
Right.
Period. Well, there is. You got the time clock of Brad Holder and allegedly the video from the Planet Fitness or wherever he was at when he used his key fob to get in. So, I mean, they don't have anything. And if you get somebody get somebody who tried to say, well, he told me, you can't use that either as hearsay.
Well, the defense's own witnesses at the last hearings said we don't have any evidence to put them at the crime scene or in Delphi on the 13th of February.
And that was Detective Murphy that
So
said that.
I mean, you've got your own witnesses saying that on the stand under cross-examination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what else do you need? What else do you need to know? You know, so I think the people that were hoping for the Odinism angle are going to be sadly disappointed. I really do. I was watching, where did I see this? Oh, Susan was on.
I watched it.
Did you watch it?
I watched the first part of it today. Profiling Evil, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
And I love him. He is so good, and he's really, really good at what he does. And
he the one, the retired sheriff out of Florida.
He's retired. Yeah, he's retired law enforcement.
Yeah.
And
he was at Crime Con.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that dude.
Oh yeah, I love him. He's really, really, really good. And if you guys haven't watched him, you need to. But anyway, Susan was on his show, and I thought it was interesting because Mike's been covering and talking about Delphi as well since pretty much the inception of the case. So he's very well versed on it as well. And he put up a picture. Did you see when he put up the picture of the sticks and stuff in the woods that looked like, you know, they kind of almost look like a fortress kind of thing?
No, I didn't get that
and
far.
He said he showed this photograph, and he said, now people look at this that believe in Bigfoot and thinks that Bigfoot did this. And then you can have an expert on forestry walk through the forest and see this and say, yeah, last night we had a really bad windstorm go through, and that's
right.
That's what caused this.
Right.
So when what Mike's point is it's perspective, and to me it's confirmation bias. It's, what do you want them to say? What do you want the sticks to represent?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has their own interpretations.
Yes.
You know.
And from everything that I know and from being out there, there are a ton of sticks.
How many times did we point out at the walk? Oh, there's a room. There's a room.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know,
I mean, we were even taking pictures of it.
The river birch that grow down and around this creek, they are constant. They just are dirty trees. They lose a ton of sticks and twigs and you know,
bark,
stuff like that, and bark and
off.
all of that. And so here you've got this stuff. To me, was just the normal flora that you would have on the forest floor, and it was used to cover them. Why was it used to cover them? Because if we can believe what Richard Allen has said himself in his confessions.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Bless you.
He's feeling remorseful, and that's why he covered them. Yeah. And you know, somebody could say, well, he covered them because he was trying to hide them. Well, perhaps.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of times the FBI will say when they cover them, and especially if they cover their heads or their faces or whatever, it's because of remorse.
In this instance, when it come to Libby, it was more of covering up her wounds so he wouldn't have to see them. That's my opinion.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Right.
You know, and again, if that's the case, then inflicting them wasn't the reason. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you want to say, people have been saying, well, he's a sadistic killer. If that was the case, then he wouldn't have cared about that and about covering that up. So I know that there's been a lot. I've been getting, I don't know about your email, but my email's been full of people asking the questions about motive and all this other, and what do you think? And when are we going to learn the motive and all of this stuff? And I'm like, you know, he's told them He's
A motive.
he's told them the motive, and we will find that out. We just have to be patient of what
Exactly.
happened and what led to this. So,
I had a discussion with another, well, I would say a sub follower. And in my last live, remember when I had to correct her and say, you can't say that because we don't know that it was the opportunity. And I said, you can't say that because we don't know what his purpose was out there.
exactly. We don't. We have no idea what led him to do what happened that day. We just don't know. And we're going to have to wait to find out.
Right.
Because, we could sit and talk about it, all night long and use this idea or that idea. But again, at the end of the day, we don't have all the evidence. So it's really hard for us to say.
What everybody has to understand is if we was to say what our opinion of the motive is and put that out there, it could turn around and backfire us and kick us straight in the ass because we could be wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've said before, with just some of the stuff that I felt about Bridge Guy in general, I could be wrong, but
I'll be right back.
Okay. I just really feel that they've got the right guy. I mean, basically on everything, on every level of stuff I've seen, that's just how I feel. So yeah, while he's away, let's say hello to everybody, you guys. 63 Clocks, how are you? Angela, Witchcraft. Hi, CJK, good to see you. Always good to have you guys in the chat. Hey, Joe. Hi, Ziggy 1967. Hey, Cecil, how are you? Hi, Nana. Always good to have you here. Hi, Olivia, too. Good to see you. Hey, Lisa. Thanks for being here, my dear. Thank you to all my moderators for being here tonight. I appreciate you. Hi, Mitzi. How are you? Good to see you guys. I know it's been a minute. Hey, Jill. How are you doing? Hope everything's going well for you. Hey, Melissa. Good to see you. Hi, Julianne. How are you? Hey, Rescue. I did. I hope everybody's doing okay. Hey, Shane. How are you? Good to see you. Hey, Miranda. How are you? Hey, Christine. How are you?
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're fine.
I had ordered me a large strawberry shake.
Oh, wow. Sounds good to me.
Uh-huh.
I'll be right over.
Yeah. Them DoorDash credits.
There you go. Hey, Corey. How are you? Good to see you guys.
I haven't seen him around in a while. I haven't seen Corey in a while.
Hi, Boston. How are you?
Rescue says you both had a costume change.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi, SP74.
I'm constant with this heat. I'm constant because I like to wear a lot of t-shirts.
Uh-huh.
And when I take him out in this heat, he drags me all over the damn place and I get to start sweating. I'm like, man, I got to change shirts again.
I hear you. Well, I haven't walked blue for the last couple of days because it's been so doggone hot, but kickboxing caused my change in clothes. So I went to that class after your live.
Oh, did you? Did you go get your grandchild?
I did. I went and got him and dropped him off at home and then went to my class.
All right, Pat Paul, my time.
Hey, Mitzi. Just trying to get caught up here. Hey, Zuzu Petals. Hi, Gibbo.
Hey,
we got of Boston.
Mitzi Scott, member for 15 months, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, Cecil. Gail was in our live stream. If she wasn't today, I saw her the last one. So I think
Yeah,
she's fine.
she commented. I think she was watching the replay today.
Yeah, I think she was. Hey, Beth, how are you? Hey, GP. Good to see you all. Good to see all of you here. Hey, Oscrack, is a Delulu Cuckbish? Okay. Wanda from Missouri.
She's a nice lady. Real nice
Yes,
lady.
yes. Hey, the Red Queen. I'm
So
glad
is the
that
Red
you're
Queen.
here. Absolutely. All the good ones. Hi, Frank. Frankie Christian. Oh man,
That doesn't surprise me at all,
that
right
doesn't
there.
surprise me either.
That's why I can't watch them that much.
I'm gonna have to eat his hat pretty soon. Well, if the Odin angle is not allowed, are they going to ask for a postponement? Frank said earlier today on his live, we already know what angle they're going with. If they don't get the Odinism, they're going to go to the Kleins. But then the Kleins have already they're part of the limine. So if she rules on that 100% in the favor of the prosecution, then the Kleins won't be a part of this either.
And see, that worries me about what we were discussing on the other live about more subpoenas.
Yeah.
And we talked about this behind the scene, and I said, this is some bullshit right here. What's going on with that? Because we know exactly what they're doing to go, who they're going after and possibly use as their defense. I believe that's why they're doing this.
Yeah.
As soon as we get the okay to let you guys know what's going on, we will.
Oh yeah, we definitely will. I just want everybody to know that, if we don't share everything we know, it's 100% because we're protecting the family.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, little one, good to have you with us. Glad you were able to catch a live as well.
Because when I verified that information, I knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
They were preparing.
Kelsey is pregnant again. For those that were not aware, Susan talked about it on Mike's live. Mm-hmm. And I've known that for a while, but I didn't want to say anything until
I didn't find out till Saturday.
Until it was official.
When we were at the Bacon Fest. Chatting with Becky, Mike, and Susan.
Yep.
And Terry, which is Brad's wife. She
shared it on her social media, and I'm friends with her on her social media. So that's how I found out about it.
And then I started thinking, all right, she's can't have kids no more. She can't have kids no more. Susan can have kids, but I don't think she was talking about having a kid. So who's that leave? Kelsey.
Yes. Yep. Yep. Kelsey is expecting. And
she does not need the stress over this.
God,
what's
no.
Going on.
Absolutely not. I mean, stop and think about it. I mean, she's already had one pregnancy, that she had to sustain and go through with all this crap the last year.
Right.
So, I mean, Ellie just turned a year old. So.
And it doesn't even seem like that it's been that long either.
I know. Really?
Right.
I hear you. Yeah. So it's, yeah.
And like I said, when I get all the documents, every time I get them, I automatically send them to Tara, Becky, and a few other people. And Becky will call or I call her to make sure she understands what's going on with these documents. And I can hear the baby every time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They, those babies and, that first year or two they're just so busy and so much is changing so fast.
Right.
And I'm so happy that Becky and Mike get to be so close. with them and get to see that baby grow, because, you know, with everything they've gone through, she has been a light in their lives, a big one. So,
right. Exactly.
Let's see here. Hey, Mitzi. Yeah, no kidding. You are awesome. Thank you so much for your membership and for, you know, just hanging in there with me. And time does fly, and you're great as well. So thank you so much for being here, Mitzi. I appreciate you. Corey said he usually watches replays and is also quiet. He said he learns more by listening.
Right. I mean, and that's exactly what we try to bring to the table in this case, especially myself and a couple other creators that actually attend these hearings. You know, we get to learn firsthand what's actually being said. Yep. It's no different than you got a creator, and I'm not trying to put him down, Gray Hughes, for instance. He's been on this case nearly day one, and it's now this past year has finally made it out to Delphi. You know, and I'm a firm believer you cannot speculate anything about this crime scene or the area until you actually experience it yourself, just like anything else. You
got to go there to see it.
Exactly. It's no different than being in the courtroom, actually listening what's actually going on.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, Shadowbox, I was just thinking of you this morning, and I was like, I miss Shadowbox. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, y'all do me a favor. We got 130 in the chat and 51 likes. Please step over there and hit that like button for me.
Hey, John, how are you, my friend? So good
John
to
France,
see you.
I haven't seen him in a while either.
Yep. Thank you. $20 super chat.
Much appreciated,
Thank you so much, John. You are so awesome. And you've been with me a long time as well. You're one of my original moderators on my channel, and I really appreciate you. And I enjoy covering this case with Frank because he has the same mindset as I do regarding the case and regarding the families. So I don't really have to, I trust him, and I don't really have to worry about anything crazy. If anybody has to worry, he has to worry about me losing my mind. So
she did it the other day, and she caught herself, and then she decides to call me later. That matter of fact, it was yesterday. And she posted on her community page, and she realized, oh shit, if Frank sees this after I found out it's wrong, he's gonna flip a lid.
He's gonna flip a lid. He's gonna say, old woman, what are you doing?
It was about the plea agreement crap. When they had the wrong Richard Allen.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
I got woke up by Coach about it. And I said, hold on. I looked at my case. I said, hold on here. There's nothing here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then he comes back and says, oh, false alarm. They had the wrong Richard Allen. I said, oh God.
So Priscilla of Boston wants to know, Frank, what was the most unusual bacon food at Bacon Fest that you tried?
Honestly, I only had one thing when it came to bacon, and I had the bacon tenderloin, which is not actually a tenderloin. It's actually a boneless pork chop, the thin one. And they put bacon and they smothered melted shredded cheese over the top between a bun.
Sounds good.
Oh, it was fire. And then I tried the shrimp gumbo tent because it was a barbecue stand with shrimp gumbo. I love me some shrimp gumbo. And I'm kind of upset that Popeye's Chicken got rid of that off their menu. You know, I grew up, I lived in the South. I like all that stuff. Red beans and rice. And
I like red beans and rice. I made it not too long ago.
Okra, fried okra, catfish, cornbread, ham and beans. You know how it is down in the South.
Yep. Hey, Tech Def, how are you, my dear? So good to see you.
But I did try one beer, and I'll never do it again. I quit drinking over 10 years ago, and I thought, well, damn, man, it's a live crowd out here. We're all having a good time listening to some real music. So I went and got me a honey red ale. Nope. I couldn't even drink half of it. Nope. All right, what we got going on in the chat?
Everybody's just saying hello to Tech.
Tech death.
So the status hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So we had people fly in for the hearing, and there was no hearing. Not for the public anyway. And you were there.
Yep. Yep. I had stepped outside to smoke a cigarette, me, Jinx, and I can't remember who. I think it was Truth and Justice. And as we were walking back up the ramp to get into the courthouse, Cold Truth comes out and said, hearing's been canceled. And I said, you're lying. And she said, do I look like I'm lying to you? I said, I'll be damned. As soon as I walked in the door and walked to the middle of the detector, I looked straight up to the third floor, and there's Rescue looking down at me. I said, I already fucking heard. I was so pissed. And then what the stuff came out today, and then what we've been hearing about the subpoenas, I have a feeling, and I'm pretty positive that it had something to do with the subpoena with Lesenby, Patrick Westfall, because they were just depoted within a few months ago. You know?
Yeah.
And they were arguing about that. So.
Well, I know that people thought that there was going to be, status hearings are, I mean, we've talked about that. They're pretty normal. They're pretty laid back. I mean, it's the court that calls them. The court is the one who says we're going to do a status hearing, and they usually do it, right before trial.
Uh-huh.
And basically it's so the court can get a handle on, is the defense ready? Is the prosecution ready? What do you guys still need from me, from the court? What do you need me to do? Or, whatever. Do you need more time? Do you need, this? Do you need that? Whatever. And then they also ask about the plea or change of plea.
Right.
Have you discussed a change of plea with your client? They always ask that at a status hearing.
Right.
So, I would be really interested. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall to hear the answer to that question, because we've all talked about whether or not Richard Allen has asked the attorneys that, stating that he wants to change his plea because the fact that he wants to go to heaven. He wants to be in heaven with his family and so on and so forth. So we feel like, knowing what he's said in these confessions, that he's wanting to try to do some sort of atonement for what he's done, for what he did here.
Right.
So I think it would be interesting to know what was said in that hearing, and we're just going to have to wait and see.
Sometimes I've been thinking about this. What if the judge actually honestly made a mistake on the decorum and made it open to the public when it should have been closed originally?
I think she closed it because of the sunglasses.
So I see CJK saying there are some nasty comments on his page. Whose page are you talking about, CJK? About the live, about Becky, the family, and Susan. Some are just so mean. Let me guess. Wacko in Australia.
Yeah, let's just talk about it. Somebody said he's flying here for the trial.
He's a full of shit.
I hope to God that you get a hold of our good friend and let him know that he's coming, so that he gets his butt thrown out on his ear.
Yep. I keep on top of all that stuff to see who's talking this shit and trying to start shit. It's just like when that one creator had been banned from all proceedings that happened up in Allen County. He made a comment about coming to the hearings up in Allen County, and I said, yeah, and I called our buddy and let him know.
Yeah.
And he said, if you see him, let me know. And I was sitting in the courtroom. He came right up to me. He says, is he here? I said, nope, he didn't come.
He was ready, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yep, he sure was.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm sure it's all a threat, but I hope
It's
somebody
all
lets
talk.
them know that, he's saying that's what he's going to do. Oh my God.
It's all
That is the
talk.
last person that should be allowed to be in that trial, in my opinion. But
Okay, somebody was asking about Gail Hurd. She's in the chat, guys. Hello, Gail.
hi, Gail. How are you? Everybody's worried about you. They said they hadn't seen you in a while, so they were making comments hoping you were okay. Yeah, Deb's true crime notebook is awesome. She's been putting together these shorts on all of these motions and all of this stuff, and she does a really, really good job.
Yeah,
And
she does. She does.
she does a lot of legwork and a lot of research. It's thundering outside.
Well, we just talked about this before we went
Oh
live.
my goodness. Yeah, it is. It's thundering outside.
It says the Red Queen says I'm on my phone, so I can't see and type as well as usual. Sorry if I missed everyone. You got an iPhone, don't you?
Oh, same. My phone, I have a terrible time seeing on my phone.
Excuse me.
I'm like, oh my. So yeah, sometimes it's a pain, but
I was reading something that somebody sent to me, and she said, you know how perfect Doug Carter was at that presser explaining, we know that you got some conscience left and all that stuff. And he talked about the book, talks about good and evil, which is the Bible. We know this because Richard Allen started reading the Bible in the prison, right? Okay. And then Richard Allen admits to feeling bad for having to kill Abby. That's the conscience that Doug Carter was talking about.
Yep.
And then the other one he's talking about, what is your family going to think of what you did? Right back to what Richard Allen said. He don't want his family seeing what he allegedly done to the girls.
Right. No, exactly. And and to know what his intent was.
Right.
With the girls. I still say if this guy had some sort of a deviant background, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And his family had no idea that side of him. He doesn't want that known.
Right.
So, but I do agree that everything that Doug Carter said in 2019 at the presser seems to point directly at Richard Allen.
Exactly.
Thanks, Priscilla Boston. Frank and I do like chatting about this, and Frank and I both have very similar people, if not the same people, in our chat, and they are good people, and we always, my people know what I demand. Frank's people know what he demands, and we really just don't get too many trolling, crappy people anymore. I mean, there's times, but my moderators know how to handle that.
Exactly.
So
we got some good mods and know what they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
And they know the players that like to do that crap.
And Coach Kev is awesome. I can't say enough about him. I missed his live with Galen the other night. I've got to go back and watch that. And I need to get back on my Flora content. I need to Nicole got COVID running through her family, and there was a whole bunch of them that were sick with it, and she was really sick with it. So I need to get back in touch with her and find out what's going on that end on Flora. But Coach Kev is all about professionalism, and he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. I mean, he's a fireman, for God's sake. He runs into burning buildings. What else do you need to know? Takes a special human being to run into a burning building, in my opinion. But yeah, I agree, Mustang, that, if we can believe the narrative from the co-workers at Walmart about Richard Allen, there were some really strange
Hold on.
behaviors.
Let me respond. Risky said, "Hey, Constantine, now I want to shake. I got your shake right here." Tease y'all. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to get that
That's
in.
okay.
I had to scroll
That
through and I
was
saw that.
fast. Did you get up and go get it, or did they just brought it to you?
Yeah, DoorDash.
And you went to the door and got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, dang, that was fast.
I opened my drapes and have my porch light on so I could see. And when he pulled up, I realized it was him. So that's why I put you on pause for a minute. Open the door to grab it.
That's funny. Because I'm like, man, that was fast. That was crazy fast.
Yeah, McDonald's is not even 5 minutes down the road from me.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, don't forget everybody that there is a prayer walk for Abby and Libby on October 13th at 1:30 p.m. at the Freedom Bridge parking lot. And so if you have not been on a memorial walk, Randy and Jinx and Frank Meister and everybody puts together a really fantastic walk, and you guys should go if you get a chance to, if you're local, because it's definitely worth it. And with the trial starting on the 14th,
don't expect it.
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm not, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not holding my breath. Plan this day.
I so want it to happen. I really do. And then at the same time, I'm like, if he pleads, it's fine with me. I mean, I'll be okay with that as long as Doug Carter does what he said he was going to do, which was come out and tell us everything.
Right.
And Doug is due to retire in 5 months.
Yes, 3 o'clock. I will go live again from the Memorial Walk. And see, I've had people ask me, have you made your arrangements for staying up there the whole month? And I said, I'm not doing that right now. There is no sense of doing that.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be doing any of that. Are you kidding? As much as stuff has gotten the number of people that just since May that have paid for hotel rooms and paid for flights and everything else to come into Delphi for this, and then have a shoe thrown in the middle of it to where there's no hearing, there's no whatever, and then they're not only out their flight and they're out all this money. And I just think,
and that kills me, because you talk about money. It cost individuals to fly round trip from Florida like $120.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Plus their food and stuff when they get here. How in the hell was how long was Baldwin down in Florida or Georgia? How many days?
I don't know, but it was $12,000.
That's my point. And then renting a conference room just to pick up a picture?
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a break, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, who does, Shane, there are times when I think literally he was talking to him, but I don't necessarily think he was literally talking to Richard Allen. I think he was talking to the FBI profile, which to me, Richard Allen fits that profile, if that makes sense.
And like I said, there was 3 components to what Carter said, and every component Richard Allen proved. It came out of his own mouth.
Yeah. Yep. Hang on, guys, just 1 second. So yeah, I just think it's too much of a coincidence that Doug Carter was talking about, having a little bit of conscience left.
Exactly. That's my
about point. What is your family going to think when they find out what you you know, how you left those girls in that woods. It's mind-boggling to me that we've got Richard Allen talking about, you know, not wanting his family to know what he did, all of it. I just think he fits the profile like to a T.
I mean, he
And
basically answered Carter's his key points.
yeah,
You think about it.
yeah, yeah.
And when that all came out, when all that stuff from confessions, I said, "I'll be damned. This has got to be. This is him. This is him."
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I'm going to stand by this, and until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to stand by this. I do believe that Paul Holes is why Richard Allen was caught. And what I mean by that is I think Paul Holes is the one who told him to go back to the beginning and look at everything from witnesses and go back through everything. And that's how they found the mistake with his wrong name, and they found him.
And filed it in the wrong file, or filed it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a witness, it was just whatever they wanted to call it.
Yeah. And so, you know, I mean, I'm just like, I think that whenever we talk about Richard Allen and we talk about what he, you know, yes, he's innocent until proven guilty, but in a court of law and all of that. But I mean, he has basically convicted himself based on what he's done and said, in my opinion. And when you have somebody who's confessed over 100 times, and 61 of those times has damning information that only the killer would know, you can't just say that this is because of mental breakdown or mental whatever. I mean, it's just not.
Right. I mean, I just don't see how they're going to get around the bullet evidence. There's a precedence in the state of Indiana on a conviction for it. So it's good science, according to the state of Indiana. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how are you going to get around your own statement? Admit to seeing the 3 teenage girls at the Freedom Bridge on your way to the Monon High Bridge.
That's what my family members that are the detectives said to me when I told them about the confessions. That was when we only thought there were 5. That's before we knew how many there were.
100 plus.
You know, and they said the confessions were going to be the biggest obstacle, because when you confess to family members, and you know, and it's nothing that they can talk about being coerced or any of that. That's hard to get over. You can't. How do you defend that?
I mean, to me, it sounds like that Richard Allen specifically confessed to his mother, like, "I'm sorry that this happened, and I'm putting you through this, and I'm asking you for forgiveness." You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In a roundabout way, or a roundabout sense.
Yeah. And see, my feeling is that I think he probably, in my opinion, it's very possible that him being in isolation and all of that caused him to think about everything that he did.
Right.
And, you know, and caused him to confess, but not for the reasons that people who are defending him are saying.
Right.
You know, I think it could be the other way around. But no matter, the confessions are the confessions. And
Shay Constantine's got a good point. If he kept his mouth shut, we'd be all still looking at Libby's video, not knowing.
Yeah. I mean,
he must have had a really big chip on his shoulder once he saw his own photo on the damn bridge, and it goes the next day to let him know, "Hey, I was out there that day." And then nothing happens, and he's like, "Man, I must be in the clear." That's a big
I'm
old
sure
chip.
that's what he thought. And then But at the same time, can you imagine living that way? Wondering, looking over your shoulder every second, not knowing when they're coming for you, you know? And like I said, I told everybody years and years ago, whoever Bridge Guy is, he's following this case. He's watching everything about it. And I firmly believe that, even though we couldn't find a presence of Richard Allen on social media,
Right.
I guarantee you he was there. And he wasn't there as Richard Allen. And
Right.
whether or not he was in our chats or whether or not he was in our Facebook groups or our Reddit subs, we don't know. But I guarantee you he was following this case.
You know what's so funny? I started thinking about this. I said when they were doing that river search,
Mm-hmm.
and then within 2 weeks after that river search, they arrested his ass. I bet he was not expecting that because he was following the river search. How much you want to bet? And they still got his car. They have not returned the car to him.
Yeah. And you know, I still say that I agree that this is about definitely about power, and I think that you know, we have to look at it about that. This
Well, I mean, if you look at it at that perspective, that means he had no control of his home life. I mean, if you think about it seriously, his wife had the control in the household, or his daughter had control in the household. I mean, you're surrounded by females nearly 24 hours a day, and you have no control.
Said that he had a dependence personality issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that was brought up in court. So yeah, he may have snapped from that alone, not having control of whatever.
Right. And you also got to, I mean, to compound the situation in his head, he loses his brother-in-law. Your daughter's moving out and she's getting married. Your wife's constantly not home because she's having to take care of her mother in another county.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm not making excuses for Richard Allen, but you know, you have to look at all these scenarios. What could cause a man to do something like this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was thinking about it this morning or this afternoon when we were doing our live, and people are always asking us again about motive and why. And we will never understand the why. No matter what the answer is that he gives, it's never going to be good enough for any of us because there's no good answer. There's no good reason to do what he did. No matter what the reason is, it's not a good one.
Exactly. And it's a good point. I mean, we could, once, if we do hear what the motive is and we put that motive in our head, we've already thought about every motive there is. So our brain's automatically going to tell us that ain't me. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Because you guys have to understand, if he has some type of mental issues can cause a lot of harm, not just to oneself, but to other people around him.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and in this circumstance here, I'm almost thinking that since he possibly didn't have no control in his home life, and he had, look, you got two females living in the home. Okay, you don't have no control. And something happened out there at that trail that made him snap, and he had two young children. He knew he could control them. You see what I'm saying?
And see, Cecil Hotel says it's kind of where I've been this whole time. I do believe that it was a sexual assault gone awry. I believe there was some sort of a sexual motivation. You and I have discussed that. I'm not going to go into it any further, but there was some sort of sexual motivation. And whatever happened, they, you know, let's say that he did have his face covered, and Cecil's right. and during a struggle or whatever, the face covering came off and now he's exposed. Now they know who he is.
Right.
Maybe they did recognize him from CVS. Maybe they did. And maybe that's when he realized, I can't let them get away. This will absolutely destroy my life. If you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or one was accidental and then the other one had to be,
I don't believe none of it was accidental.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
It's not accidental when.
No, I definitely believe there was
one victim's got several injuries.
Yeah.
And then one is dressed appropriately because of remorse.
Yeah.
It's not accidental.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he basically admitted he had to kill Abby in one of his confessions. The way he said it, I felt remorse for having to kill Abby. Well, you're admitting you had to kill her. So,
yeah. So, and as far as everybody's questions on whether or not if he changes his plea, will we know, or does he have to tell the court? That is all part of the plea agreement. There will be a point where what he's done, when he admits to what he has done, it will have to be told to the court. Whether that's done in open court, that's something that Judge Gull has to decide on. We have to remember that these victims were children and minors, and there are things that they will not and don't necessarily have to have in open court.
Let me get to Mustang. She says, I think he intended to kill. Why bring a gun and a knife? And the difference in what is done to each girl. Oh, hold on. Knife, the difference in what, you got to remember, Mustang, a lot of men especially carry pocket knives, carry guns everywhere they go.
Especially in Indiana.
I carry a gun when I walk out this door every time I need to go somewhere. That doesn't mean I'm intending to go kill somebody. And once again, you're entitled to your opinion, but you don't jump the gun just as of yet. Because we don't know
that would
exactly.
have been a good question. I'm sure they asked Richard Allen was, do you carry your gun with you a lot?
Right.
That would have been a question that they would have asked him right off the bat.
Right. I'm just saying, we just don't know what his purpose was when he went out there. We know he had a purpose for something according to what the witnesses were saying, but what was it? We just don't know.
Right. Absolutely.
Like Joe's talking about watching the fish. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've been out there at that time of the year. The creek is way up. It's muddy. You're not seeing fish when it's 30-degree water or 20-degree water and they're dormant.
No. No. That was me. I'm like, everybody's like, well, you can see fish. Yeah, you can see fish in the summertime, but you're not going to see fish in the winter. The fish aren't. And it was deep.
Yeah, you guys would be surprised on how deep the river is, the creek is during like the February time of year, especially
when they have
that
to run off, from snow and ice.
Coming off the hills into the creek. And the creek is rapid at that time of year too. There's a lot of heavy current. It flows pretty fast.
Exactly.
Exactly, Joe. You're not seeing fish still in the wintertime.
No. No. But I do think that was an interesting thing that he said, because to me, again, that can be kind of proven or disproven based upon his phone, if they have his phone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they can look to see if he was active on a stock ticker.
Well, that's why I believe he was one of the 3 cell phones out there that was a burner phone. That's my honest opinion.
Now, there's been speculation that he did take his real phone with him and left it in the car. Have you heard that?
Yes. Yes, I've already heard it. It's through the geofencing. And no, I don't believe none of that because Nick said geofencing is worthless in this case. It's unreliable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I see, again, it goes back to, if you listen to the prosecution and you listen to Nick, when he talks about all of this and the pings and the cell phones and everything, the defense doesn't understand how it works, and their experts don't either. So.
Sorry, I'm just checking the chat.
No, as far as I know, he's never said that he's actually the man on the bridge or that he's the man in Libby's video.
Yeah, that's contradicting, though. How can you be watching fish if you're not on the bridge?
So remember, he said he was on the bridge, but then he turned around and went and walked back and sat down on the bench. Remember?
Yes. Yep. And then he changed his story on the times he was actually out there.
Yes. Yes.
Which was a complete lie because you just contradicted the girl's statements that saw you.
Right.
And you contradicted your own statement because you admitted to seeing the girls, the three girls.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody named Barb reported my channel. I wonder what she reported my channel for.
Who's?
I reported this channel. Bye.
Good
Bye.
for you. See ya.
See ya.
Hasta la vista. Don't let the crime door kick you in the ass on the way out.
There you go.
You block them? I can't do it from my end.
Hang on a second. I can. Oops, I hope I did the right person. I hate when you click on somebody to do that and it moves up.
Yeah.
And then you do the wrong person.
Oh, rescue got her.
Okay, thank you. Oh, God, it was Joe Newman. How do I get him unbanned? Oh, shit. Hold on a second. I got to go find.
You got to go into your YouTube studio.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Hang on, guys. Frank, keep talking while I get him.
Sorry, Joe.
I'm sorry, Joe. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
And CJK says, oops. Hang on, Joe. Reported for being awesome. Constantine's like, oh, Joe, oh no. Barb, do better, be better. Yeah. The rest of this week, I'm going to be on pins and needles.
Okay, so where do I find this at? Because I don't find him on my... He's not on my hidden users list.
There should be a block. Here, let me go into mine. Now screwing that. Let's get over here. I'll show you where it's at. Hold on. He's back in chat. It's got the message from rescue.
Thank you. Joe, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that.
He said, Jinx, I owe you my life.
Oh my God. I am so sorry. I feel bad. I feel so bad.
Christopher Collins says, "Do you feel like BJ was at the far end of the bridge and past the girls?" I honestly believe that he was, because he has direct sight to the north end of the bridge and he could see people walking up.
Jinx, super Jinx saved us.
She's one hell of a mod.
Thank you, Jinx.
But that's something that we are really not going to know. I honestly don't think that we'll ever know which end he was actually on when he crossed paths with the girls. That's just my opinion. Because all it's going to have is all going to be speculation.
Yeah.
I mean, but the scenario fits more of him being at the south end already, in my opinion. Because I keep hearing people say, well, he was hiding in the woods at the north end. Okay, if that's the case, when the girls got on the bridge far enough to where he came out and started walking, how does he know that people aren't walking behind him from a distance? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Because again, you have to remember that the walk is not the same now as it was in 2017, and you couldn't see anything coming because remember you had to walk up through the woods and come down to get to the Monon High Bridge. It wasn't that straight shot that it is now when they redid the
it was all dirt. It was all dirt back then.
Yes. Yep. Oh, Joe, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to scar you. Yeah, I do think it'll be up for interpretation. I think Christopher's right. And unless, if he does come out and say what he did and actually what happened that day, again,
I want to know minute by minute.
Yeah.
If he remembers that far back.
Oh yeah, the video will be huge at the hearing. Yes, they will use the video that Libby took at the hearing.
I mean, you can't tell me this guy is not reliving this in his head all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
To this day.
But I definitely do believe that we'll know more when he actually says, like you said, what happens minute by minute. But then again, they're going to have to vet that. Is he still telling the truth? Is there only partial truth? Is he going to own up to everything?
Right.
We'll just have to wait and see.
That's where if a possible plea comes into the works here, that's where Nick McClelland's going to have to sit down with him personally and record everything. And so Nick can go back step by step of what he's saying and try to vet it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my phone's going off too.
Jinx said to send her love to Joe Newman because she fixed it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate her. So yeah. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, like I said, to see what happens. And the trial, if it does happen or if it doesn't, we're just going to have to wait and see. They have all kinds of things that they could still sorry guys, that they could still do to throw a wrench in the proceedings. And whether or not she allows it or not, I see her really putting her foot down for them doing anything that's going to keep the trial from happening in October. And change of plea.
Joe, he says, so reliving it in his head he do that for 5 years without trophies that he kept for that long? did they find them in the warrant search? We're not sure, but it doesn't necessarily have to be trophies, dude. Remember, he took his daughter out there onto the bridge and was taking photos of her. And remember, there's been a lot of talk that his daughter and Ab or Libby resembled each other. What if he was out there and was taking pictures and all of a sudden he just had a flashback and controlled it? You know what I mean? That might be his way of reliving it, is taking his daughter out there on the bridge and taking pictures of her.
Well, that's definitely true. But, you know, these types of people, they do relive this stuff, and they relive it in all kinds of weird and bizarre ways.
Right.
We don't know how many times he went back to the crime scene.
Right. And we don't know how many times he's been out to the trail since then either.
Yep.
Because just going out there might be a gratification, making him go back to think what he did.
Yep.
It could be a gratification scenario. You know,
I mean, you know, he could very well have gone out on the anniversaries.
Right.
Anything is possible, you guys. We don't know. And Ted Bundy comes to mind, but a lot of them do a lot of weird things like that and relive it. They go back to the location. Sometimes they go back and visit the bodies.
Yep.
There's all kinds of things that these people do. We just don't, like I said, we just don't know. But what really gets me about him more than anything is the fact that he played pool in a group that sat and discussed these murders just like we do here, and speculate and talk about, and they talked about those, and he was there in that group of people.
And just like that photo of him at the bar, and it had a picture of BG right there on the back of the wall right behind him, and it didn't faze him one bit.
And there was one right next to him when he worked at CVS.
Yeah,
they had
exactly.
him at CVS. I'm like, knowing that's you on that picture, and you're just, you know, that's just
nonchalantly moving on, living your life like it's no big deal. Nobody knows who it is, so they can't pin it on me. And he got away with it for 5.5 years.
Yes. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like I said, some of the things that, you know, people do that commit these kinds of crimes. Again, the average person considered normal, we don't understand. We never will understand how or why they can do this.
That's why we're not psychiatrists or psychologists.
No, exactly.
Let the professionals deal with that. They know more about all that stuff than we do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the recap of the status hearing. I did want to say this. I talked a little bit about it on Frank's live a couple lives ago, but what happened with, and I think I talked about it with Susan, but the whole glasses thing, sunglasses thing, we don't need that kind of crap going on in this case. We don't need adults not adulting.
What was your end game in the whole damn thing?
Yeah, exactly.
As Susan would say, what was your end game?
And the fact that you got found out, and the fact that you got called out, and the fact that you were doing this at the Westerman hearing and thinking it was funny leads me to believe that I can't believe anything you said about it being an accident. And I'm like, you know, this is real life. This case affects real people. And it's not a game by any sense of the word. Yeah.
Sorry, responding to messages. You know how that goes.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Lord. More people coming into my chat I've never seen before in my life.
I don't look for Richard Allen to speak. I don't think he will say anything.
Nope.
And I honestly don't expect that. I do expect victim impact statements, whether we get one from all the family members. They'll all get an opportunity to give one, whether they all do or not. That will be up to them. And we will stand behind them for whatever they decide to do. Because again, all the people out there that are critical of Derek and Anna for remaining wanting to be quiet about all of this and deal with this all personally on their own, we have no right to judge them for that.
Right.
You know, and so I stand behind them, and you know, I want everybody to stop and think about that before you start throwing them under the bus.
Absolutely, 100% agreed.
You know,
But,
until you walk a mile in their shoes, you have no way to know exactly how they
understand
feel or understand at all what they're going through.
Right. But in the meantime, guys, pay close attention to my YouTube community and my Facebook group, because I got my eye on the one order for that was the motion was filed for the attorney yesterday. She's got a rule on it. If she doesn't, I guess that attorney should have luck, right? You know, and we're waiting on the limine, which should be by Friday, no later than Tuesday, I would think, by our calculations on the court calendar.
Yeah, so there will be more things happening. We just have to see. And I don't know when Judge Gull's leaving for vacation.
Right.
You know, but no, you know, it's a long weekend. It's a holiday weekend. And so I'm assuming she'll be in court on Friday. So,
right. But otherwise,
yeah. But thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. Please make sure that you subscribe if you haven't, if you'd like to know more about the case. And also remember Flora and Galen and the girls, because we're going to be championing for their justice as well. And that we have not forgotten any of that. So, hey, Grizz, good to see you. Thank you for being here. But yeah, Frank, thank you so much for joining me. Always a pleasure.
Anytime.
And
but I will keep you up to date what's going on first thing tomorrow if I get anything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good night, everybody. I hope you all have a great evening.
Have a good night, guys.